Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something really practical, actually kind of fun, using TV shows to seriously boost your English.
That's right.
We're looking at a specific source here. It's an excerpt from, I believe, a podcast script called Learn English with TV Shows.
And what's great about this source, I think, is how it takes something you probably enjoy anyway, watching TV, and sort of reframes it, turns it into a real learning strategy.
Yeah, like a shortcut maybe to getting that natural conversational English everyone's after.
Exactly. It promises that, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the core argument here. Why does this source claim TV shows are such a secret weapon for learners?
Well, the source is pretty clear on this. The biggest reason is that shows expose you to real spoken English.
Right, not textbook English.
Not at all. It's the language people actually use day to day, which, let's face it, can be very different from what you learn formally.
You're hearing it in context.
Yeah, precisely. And you also get exposure to different accents. The source specifically mentions American, British, Australian. That's crucial.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Plus, there's the cultural aspect. You pick up on how people live, how they joke, argue, interact, all those subtleties.
That's a huge point. You absorb the nuances. Like, this source mentions hearing those everyday phrases you don't usually find in books. Things like, you're kidding, or no way.
That's insane, yeah, absolutely. These little phrases are the glue of natural conversation.
So shows like the source mentions Friends, The Office.
Sherlock, Stranger Things.
Yeah,
they're packed with this authentic language.
Right.
And really, this tackles a major hurdle for learners, understanding English as it's actually spoken, often fast and informal. TV gives you a direct line to that.
Okay, so TV's this goldmine of real language.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there are thousands of shows. It's overwhelming. How does the source suggest you navigate all that? It recommends specific shows, right, based on level.
It does, and it's quite helpful. It gives you a starting point.
Yeah.
So, for beginners, someone just starting out, it suggests.
Like really basic.
Yeah. First, Peppa Pig.
Okay.
Simple words, clear British accents, very easy sentences. Good for just getting your ear tuned in.
Makes sense.
And second, Extra English. Now, this one's interesting. It's a sitcom made specifically for English learners.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So it's funny, but the pace is deliberately slower.
That's clever. Okay, what about for learners who are a bit more comfortable? Intermediate level.
All right, for intermediate, the source lists some big names you'd expect.
Like?
Friends, obviously. A classic. Right. It's American English, full of common, useful expressions. The source even pulls out, how's it going? No way. Okay, I'll be there for you.
Can't escape that one.
You really can't. Then there's the Big Bang Theory. Good for getting used to faster speech, sarcasm, lots of informal chat.
Right. That may be a bit technical sometimes.
It notes that, it can be a little technical, but still full of everyday stuff. And Stranger Things is on the list, too, for modern American slang, emotion, kind of dynamic conversations.
That's a good mix. And for advanced learners, people who really want to push themselves.
For the advanced folks, the source suggests shows with faster or more complex language, like Sherlock.
Benedict Cumberbatch talking very fast.
Exactly. Great for British English, that rapid-fire dialogue, clever phrasing, really tests your listening.
Okay.
Then The Crown, recommended for perfecting British pronunciation, specifically received pronunciation, that sort of Queen's English sound.
Right. Very clear, formal almost.
And lots of elegant vocabulary. And finally, Breaking Bad.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, it offers a lot of authentic slang, idioms, really intense emotional language, and the conversations feel very, very natural.
That's a solid list across the board. And the source gives a key tip about how to watch these, doesn't it? Something about subtitles.
Oh, absolutely crucial point. It says start with English subtitles. English only.
Not your native language.
Definitely not. That kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
You need to connect the sound with the English words, but the goal, eventually, is to watch without any subtitles.
Right, to really train your ear.
Exactly. You're retraining your brain.
So choosing the right show seems important. Matching your level, like the source says, but also finding something you actually like.
Definitely. You need to be engaged. Pick something you're genuinely interested in, otherwise it just feels like homework, right? Match the level, but also match your interests.
Let's talk about those language gold nuggets you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
The source lists specific phrases, idioms. This feels like where the real practical value is, learning things that make you sound more natural.
Yeah, these examples from the source are great. Let's just quickly break them down.
Okay.
What's up? Super common, informal, how are you, or what's happening.
Yeah.
Much more natural than, say, how do you do?
Right.
You've got to be kidding me. That's all about expressing disbelief, like, wow, I can't believe that, or that's crazy.
Heard that one a lot.
Then I'm down. Really useful, short way to agree to something. Means, I agree, I'm in, yeah, let's do it.
Simple.
Let's catch up. Means, let's talk later and update each other on our lives.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. You say this to reassure someone. Means, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Got it.
No way. Another expression of surprise or disbelief, like wow, or really, similar to.
Are you serious?
Exactly. Are you serious? Same kind of vibe. Expressing shock or finding something hard to believe.
These are definitely phrases you hear constantly in conversation. The source even suggests repeating them out loud, right? Maybe listeners are doing that now. Mentally, at least.
Yeah, and it's good advice. Learning these chunks, these common phrases in context is key. It helps you move past translating word for word in your head.
Makes your own speech sound more fluid.
Totally. More idiomatic, more natural.
So to really show how these work together, the source includes a little simulated scene, a short dialogue.
It does. It's simple. Two friends meeting after work. Let's quickly run through it and look at the phrases. So friend A says, hey, long time no see.
Classic opener.
Right. Friend B replies, I know, right? It's been ages. How you been? Friend A, not bad, just super busy with work. Friend B, tell me about it. My boss is driving me crazy. Friend A then says, I feel ya. Want to grab a drink and catch up? And friend B finishes, absolutely, I'm down. Let's go.
Nice and simple. So let's break down those key phrases in that context.
Okay, so long time no see. Just a very standard, informal way to say we haven't seen each other for a while.
Easy enough.
Tell me about it. This is important. It doesn't actually mean give me details. It means I completely understand or I agree. I feel the same way. It shows empathy.
Ah, okay. Good distinction.
Drives me crazy. Pretty straightforward. It means making me angry, making me stressed.
We've all been there.
Haven't we just? I feel you. Similar to tell me about it. It means I understand, I can relate, shows connection.
Right.
Grab a drink, casual invitation, let's go get a drink. Could be coffee, could be beer, whatever. And there it is again. I'm down. Perfect response here. Yes, I agree. Let's do it.
It's amazing how many of those essential everyday phrases fit into just a few lines. That's exactly what watching TV gives you again and again.
Exactly.
And the source suggests repeating conversations like this, line by line.
Yeah, it does. As active practice. It helps you internalize the rhythm, the pronunciation, how the conversation flows. It shows how these phrases link everything together.
Okay, so we get why it works, what shows might be good and what kind of language to listen for, but how do you actually turn watching into, learning? The source gives a practical method, right? 4 steps.
Yes, this is the how-to part, the concrete plan. The source lays out these steps.
Step 1.
1. Watch with English subtitles. Start there. Connect the sounds you hear to the words you see.
Okay, makes sense.
2. Pause and note. When you hear a word or phrase you don't understand, hit pause. Write it down. Keep a dedicated notebook. Maybe call it your TV English notebook. This is active learning.
Building your vocabulary bank.
Exactly. 3. Repeat and shadow. This is key. Go back. Repeat the line or phrase out loud. Try to copy the actor's rhythm, their intonation, how they say it. Shadowing.
Mimicking. Okay.
It trains your mouth and your ears simultaneously. And then 4. Watch again with no subtitles. This is the big test for your listening skills. See how much more you understand now without the text.
That sounds like a really solid process. It turns passive watching into a proper study session.
It really does. It's a blueprint you can apply to basically any show, any scene. It's about deliberate practice, moving from just understanding to actually being able to use the language.
Beyond that core method, did the source offer any other little bits of advice, some extra tips?
It did, yeah. Some final helpful pointers.
Like what?
First, consistency. Little and often is better. Aim for maybe 10-15 minutes of focused watching daily rather than one huge session once a week.
Okay, keep the momentum going.
Exactly. Second, rewatch episodes. Don't just watch once. The first time could be purely for enjoyment, get the story. The second time, or even third, is when you really focus, use the steps, pause, take notes.
Ah, right. Deeper dive on the second pass.
Precisely. Third, connect with characters. Find characters whose way of speaking you like or find interesting. Try mimicking them specifically. It makes it more engaging, more fun.
Like picking a vocal model.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
And Finally, maybe the most important one, don't worry about understanding everything. It's okay. You won't catch every single word, especially at first. Don't get discouraged. Your brain is still absorbing things passively: context, intonation, visuals.
That's really reassuring, takes the pressure off. You don't need to be perfect right away.
Not at all. Progress over perfection. And finding those characters you connect with, as the source suggests, really helps with motivation. It feels less like study and more like hanging out with people you find interesting.
So that pretty much wraps up our deep dive into this source material on using TV for English learning. We've covered the why, the benefits, the what show recommendations for different levels, unpacked some really useful vocabulary and idioms.
Looked at how those phrases work in a real conversation.
Right. Analyzed that mini dialogue and then laid out that practical 4-step method, plus those extra tips.
I think the main takeaway is just how rich TV shows are as a resource. They offer this authentic environment, but crucially, you need that strategic approach to really unlock the learning potential. Turn watching into active learning.
Absolutely. And, this leaves us with a final thought, kind of building on what the source touched on about breaking down scenes. It mentioned maybe doing that for a famous scene from, say, Friends or Sherlock. It makes you wonder, how much more could you unlock about natural English, the real rhythm, the intonation, those little connector words, just by taking a few minutes of your absolute favorite show scene and really dissecting it using these methods we talked about today? Think about the potential just sitting there, right on your screen.